Next, let's look at A Journey to the West, the Buddha and the Dharma. That afternoon, His Holiness gave everyone a public talk. The content is quite extensive. On this auspicious occasion, I'd like to say a few words from the bottom of my heart. All of us present here today have obtained the perfect and excellent human existence. This is what we should be aware of from the very beginning. Since you have attained a supreme human body in the ways of benefiting ourselves and avoiding all harm, we have a more superior level of courage, power, and intelligence than animals do. This also needs to be recognized from the start. We really should. Each person should distinguish themselves from animals or other forms of life. In this lifetime, we are different from others in certain ways. We should have this awareness of our human identity. Since we possess a supreme human body with intelligence, we should not waste our lives meaninglessly, like an animal not knowing what is good and what is bad. Rather, try every possible means to seek benefit and avoid suffering. Actually, most of the harm people experience is created by their own minds. Some things indeed are beyond our power. Of course, physical illness may be unavoidable. But much psychological harm comes from the fragility of our minds. Seeking benefit is the shared nature of all beings. No matter who you are, you will be overjoyed when attaining happiness and heartbroken when encountering suffering. No one likes pain and suffering while disliking happiness and pleasure. Basically, throughout the human world, this fundamental value is pretty much the same. Everyone is concerned about suffering. Of course, a very small number of Mahayana Bodhisattvas, as long as it benefits sentient beings, they're willing to accept suffering or happiness. They have this kind of aspiration. Except for a few individuals, almost every person is actively searching for ways and methods to acquire happiness. A small number of people may, as it says in the Heart's Advice, as long as it benefits sentient beings, they're willing to endure the suffering of hell, hungry ghosts, and animals. This is truly hard to imagine. So, if some of us truly want to benefit sentient beings, I want to go to remote places, I want to go to Africa, I want to go to some other places where the Dharma is not flourishing to benefit beings, that kind of mental strength must be very powerful. Other than that, everyone will protect themselves. Among those who do not follow any religious belief, some people are basically like animals, just bustling around day and night to avoid obvious harm and running after petty profits. Many are concerned only with 3 meals a day, and some aren't even willing to eat 3 meals. Nowadays, many stay at home playing video games all day, not even willing to go out, buying instant noodles, or those with some money ordering takeout every day. Other than that, there are quite a few people who don't want to go out. Instead, those who truly understand how to seek genuine peace and happiness are mostly religious believers. Religious faith is still very important, but His Holiness's teaching here is quite broad. In the future, when we have the opportunity to be among people of various religions and faiths, we can't start by praising our own right away. First, present a more balanced perspective so they have choices. It's not about rushing to reform them right away or immediately criticizing them. It's not like that. This skillful means is very important. Many of us here should learn this well. His Holiness didn't particularly understand Western culture before. I mentioned this in the preface. But His Holiness's ability to adapt is very strong. After arriving, many great masters at the time were amazed. His Holiness seems to know about this place, even though we've lived here for so many years, and still aren't quite clear about it. His Holiness's teaching style is very suitable for Westerners. Actually, the mindset of Westerners is now similar to that of many people in our cities. So this is still very appropriate. In the world there are 3 major religions, Christianity, Islam and Buddhism, as well as a great number of other religious traditions. Some only try to pursue the well-being of the present life. Some dedicate themselves to the benefit and happiness of both this and future lifetimes. Some, however, focus more on the happiness of future lifetimes rather than just this life, because future lives are long-term. Especially in Mahayana Buddhism, this brief human life, whether suffering or happiness, it doesn't really matter. For anyone who is interested in following a religion, it is necessary to carefully examine the advantages and disadvantages of each religion. Otherwise, it is unlikely that any benefit will be derived if you choose to casually embrace a religion without knowing anything about it. Many people in the world today behave this way. There are over 2,000 religions, large and small, in the world. world. So many people don't examine them at all. Some people join a religion. Their method is quite laughable. What do they say? I want to join a certain religion. Why? Because they help my child with school funding. Because when I need medical care, they give me money. So their rationale is quite laughable. In that case, you don't need to join a religion. You're just joining a charity or looking for wealthy people. This isn't what religion is about. Although religions do engage in such activities, your motivation is, because when I encounter difficulties, these religious people are very kind to me, so I want to join. Actually, this is, on one hand, it's not solved by religion, but people think this is religion. That's what they think. There is no doubt that within the doctrines of the three major religions, as well as those of many other traditions, there are a lot of methods to pursue happiness and avoid suffering. For instance, some religions achieve peace and happiness for this and future lives by praying to their Creator. Regarding this Creator, or God, Christianity acknowledges it, Catholicism acknowledges it, Islam also acknowledges it, and Judaism acknowledges it too. Many major religions do, but their understanding of the Creator differs in some ways. Some obtain happiness in this life by worshipping the sun, the moon, especially in India and that region, Maheshvara or Ganesha, and so on. They achieve happiness in this life. Some seek temporary benefit and ultimate happiness by taking refuge in the three jewels. Basically, most religions are quite similar in requesting their followers to have faith in their own deities and pray to them, and to have firm conviction in their doctrines. Actually, they're more similar than different. Many religions have a deity they worship in their hearts. They have deeper histories with certain connections and causes. Religious followers also have faith within their own minds. They have a belief in it. Many have this. However, it is necessary to ponder and analyze thoroughly whether the founder of each religion possesses the valid knowledge that is never deceptive, and whether the doctrine each founder preaches is free of any fault. This statement is very important. There are many religions in the world going back to ancient times. The other day when we were teaching the Sublime Praise, there were so many. Now, both in the West and the East, there are many. But the true founders of these religions, like our Shakyamuni Buddha, are they truly valid authorities? This needs to be examined. We ourselves also need to examine these things carefully. Otherwise, we really could easily be drawn in by various beliefs. Because what you're seeking might be, your goal is to cure illness, or to gain wealth, or to obtain peace. Every religion will say they're the best, the greatest in the world. So on one hand, regarding their founder, do they have a truly valid authority? Second, are their teachings correct? These points need deep and careful consideration. Everyone should remember this passage. Although there are so many various religions, thoughts, and schools in the world, what is their founder really like? What are the teachings they proclaim really like? We must examine these aspects. This statement is very important. Everyone, please remember it. Someone may wonder, what are the differences among the founders of various religions? The founders of some religions, or what His Holiness said before and after, is basically the same, but some parts speak from the perspective of the doctrine, some from the perspective of the founder, and some from the classification of religious leaders. At first I thought there might be some repetition, but later, when I carefully compared each section of content, there were different emphases, so I didn't change it. If there were truly repetitive parts, I edited one section, but if you analyze before and after carefully, there's no repetition. Some of them focus only on their own benefit, their own retinues and followers, and in order to achieve their goals, they would harm the rest of the majority of sentient beings. Some consider the benefit of all human beings while ignoring other types of living beings. Some benefit not only humans but all sentient beings. They endeavor to protect each and every being from harm and suffering, and not only that, they hold the principle of cherishing others more than themselves and constantly strive to bring benefit to others. At first glance, you can tell this is Mahayana Buddhism. Such being the case, among all these founders, is it better to focus completely on your own welfare and the welfare of those who are like-minded, or is it better to strive to benefit both self and others? This is a question worth reflecting upon. When His Holiness spoke to them, basically following the Western approach, He gave them multiple choice questions. It's not that you must do this, or as we might say, how It's not like that. In this regard, you should carefully think step by step, one link after another, which one is better. Even as an individual, is being selfish better or benefiting both self and others better? Or is it better to dedicate yourself purely to benefiting others? This also needs to be considered. Regarding the doctrines of different religions, some encourage their followers to harm other sentient beings for the sake of personal benefit, as well as their associates. Some advocate harming other beings in order to benefit human beings, and some urge followers to benefit infinite sentient beings extensively and equally, and save them all from harm and suffering. Of these three types of doctrines, which makes more sense and is more appealing to you? Again, this requires deep reflection. His Holiness keeps asking everyone to reflect deeply. There are also some religions quite new in this world, founded by individuals based on their own conceptual thoughts. They are not truly authentic, sacred religions, but rather certain individuals establishing them based on their own conceptual thinking. If analyzed by proper reasoning, their doctrines do not stand up to examination and are full of faults and contradictions. These are later developments. Aren't there many various religions spreading now? If anyone has even a little prestige, I want to start a religion. India has especially many, all sorts of them now. The West is the same way, and needless to say, inside, all kinds of things. In some places it seems there's neither religion nor non-religion, which actually keeps things cleaner. If it's a particularly free place, all sorts of strange ideas run rampant. Some religions originated in the world thousands of years ago, and they are reliable and sacred traditions. Their doctrines stand up perfectly well to analysis and examination throughout history. All these aspects should be carefully, deeply, and meticulously studied before you decide to follow any of them. Otherwise, selecting one in haste, or only according to which religion is more influential or more powerful, cannot bring you much benefit. Including now some that have relatively greater power and relatively strong economic backing, people will join them. Everyone knows this. As a Tibetan saying goes, it's like a hungry dog meeting a lung. When a hungry dog encounters an animal's lung, it does not wait to sniff whether it even smells good or not, or examine whether to eat it or not. It doesn't do that, but just swallows it in one gulp. His Holiness sometimes also used this analogy for relying on spiritual teachers. When relying on a spiritual teacher, you need to examine first. Otherwise, here His Holiness didn't talk much about relying on spiritual teachers, but about choosing a religion. Actually, for many young people now, it's the same. For Westerners, some older people have Christian faith, but young people have no faith. Without faith, they feel a bit conflicted. It seems better to have some faith, but when it comes to faith, every religion says, my religion is very good. So which one is actually good? And they themselves don't have the ability to examine the doctrines. If you directly examine the doctrines, this religion is truly very good. If I study it, it will benefit my body and mind. That religion is still a bit extreme, a bit frightening. I won't join it. They should examine it themselves. Indeed, some religions, looking at their history, although they're called religions and have many religious followers, they have brought humanity an extremely bloody history. We can see this at a glance. Many of the conflicts in the world today have a certain relationship with religion. When I went to Jerusalem, the impression it left, I've been to many places, but Jerusalem is particularly special. Its history, too, is something we simply cannot express in words. If we were reborn there, who knows what it would be like? So, for each person's mind, religion is deeply rooted and very powerful. If the choice is wrong, it's particularly frightening. So why are we now studying the 5 major treatises? Actually, we may not necessarily use all 5 major treatises, but what's the purpose of studying them? It's to develop certainty in our teachings. When we examine our teachings this way, actually it's not such a simple matter. For example, when you study Madhyamaka, logic, or Prajnaparamita, there are certain profound aspects. Then through this approach you can also draw inferences from this. For example, if we use logical reasoning, we may not necessarily use inferential reasoning with everyone, but we can use this method. When we were in school too, some solving equations, some formulas, mathematical content like that, we can't use them in real life, but their method of analysis and their method of application can still be used in real life to some extent. So when we study the 5 major treatises, some people are quite distressed. I've studied logic for such a long time now. Who am I going to teach? When I go back and talk to my mom and dad, they won't understand either. I can't find any other students either. But it's okay. With this reasoning, if you develop a particularly correct faith in Buddhist teachings, then when you encounter any situation, you can use an alternative approach to examine it. It is useful, not useless. All the knowledge we have, much of the knowledge we learned in school too, generally speaking we may not necessarily, when I was young. I had a songbook. The songs I copied down, I never sang them, after I finished studying and copying them, but now I can. If my voice is that good, I can sing sometimes too. Not necessarily that song, but I can sing because I had that foundation as a singer before. So there's hope for the future. Like this, joining any religion indiscriminately is truly an unwise act. So before following any of the religions that are thriving in the world, you need to learn more about them through the words of their founders and followers. This is explained very well. So what we have below, let's continue tomorrow.
Bandara Banma Sadar